my god, that shit's intimidating. It's worse than being being a writer and staring at the cursor blinking on the screen. No pressure, but and here I am sitting in front of my webcam going, this is hard when you actually are trying to say something. It's time, I'm gonna say it. I'm a transgender woman with a dirty little secret. And people have made me feel bad about this. Specifically, men have made me feel bad about my dirty little secret. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? If you have come here to listen to a 5'8" transsexual talk about model airplanes, you're in the right place. I build models! And who gives a shit if I'm trans? Alright, there it is. So now that we're done talking about that, let's move on. This is a Tamiya, or a Tamiya 1/48th scale P-51 Mustang. And it comes with, you know what, this camera effect is fucked. I'm going to turn this off right now. Turn the background off. Let's see how it looks now. Now we can see our Mustang. And guess what? It comes with a little Jeep. Alright, autofocus is causing problems. Studio lighting, edge lighting, portrait lighting. Ooh, how about that? Okay, so now we're talking about the Tamiya P-51D Mustang. I don't know if you guys know anything about model airplanes, so I'm going to assume we're just going to start from the beginning. Model kits come in different scales, okay? This is a 1/48th scale model airplane, meaning the real airplane is 48 times bigger than the completed plastic model is. Or my little plastic airplane is 48 times smaller than a real airplane. Okay, I mean, that's it. I didn't make the rules, okay? But that's how 1/48 scale works. Or sometimes it's called quarter scale for some reason. But anyway, so that's the scale that I like to build model airplanes in right now. And yeah. So there it is. I build model airplanes. Which seems like a big deal, right? Why is that a big deal? Well, I'll tell you why it's a big deal. Because I had a guy who turned out to be a chaser. I don't know if y'all know what a chaser is, but amongst trans women like myself, straight or male attracted trans women in particular, we kind of warn each other and talk about a type of person called a chaser. Typically a man, but not always, as I found out. A chaser is a person who kind of looks at a transgender woman and claims to love her, but then acts like he hates her by making her feel so special that she better not stop being his idea of what makes her so special. For example, this one guy, I can't remember his name right now. They wrote a song about him though called Short Dick Man. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that one, but that's his song. Yeah, anyhow, so Mr. Short Dick Man decided to come over to my apartment one night, and he looked at my hobby bench, and he looked at my an airplane that I was building, and he goes, "The fuck is this?" And I said, what? It was like midnight, and this guy just showed up at my door, right? Thinking, he showed up for sex, of course, right? But, I mean, he basically showed up at my apartment at midnight to tell me Congratulations, I'm your boyfriend now, and I'm going to tell you how to fucking live. To the point where this man came into my apartment, he saw my hobby area, my workbench full of my tools and paints and airplanes in various stages of non-completion. And he literally did something that don't do this to a model builder unless you want to pull back a stump, okay? Homeboy reached right for my workbench and plucked an airplane that I was still building off of the bench. Put his mitts all over it with no gloves or nothing. And says, "What the fuck is this?" And I said, "That is a 140A scale Mustang 3 in Royal Air Force service. It's a fucking airplane, okay? A thing from World War II. I could go into great detail because I put a lot of research into the history and the markings and things like that make those airplanes such a rewarding hobby. But he didn't get any of that. He just saw that as guy stuff. So my so-called self-appointed boyfriend, chaser boyfriend, barges right into my freaking place at midnight, looks at my hobby bench, picks up one of my hobbies off of my workbench in my very personal space, puts his grubby hands all over it and goes, the fuck is this? Guy shit? I was like, what are you doing? That's my hobby. And you know what the man said? He got even closer and he looked at me and he goes, "I don't know anything about that, but that looks like guy stuff to me." Yeah, okay, right. So here I am. I'm like, did I just get misgendered by a guy who just invaded my life and wants to be my boyfriend? It got worse because he's like, look, he goes, I started talking a little bit about my hobby, and he just sits there in my personal space looking at me and goes, "Look, I don't know anything about that stuff, but you didn't tell me about it, so that's strike one. And what that means is we're going to lay down some rules." And then he told me that I better wake up in the morning before him to make sure I shave before he has to see me first thing in the morning, where I might, That came right after, immediately on the heels of, "I don't want you building model airplanes because that's guy stuff. And it's not girly." So guess what I did? This hobby that I loved all my life, including my old life, something I've been doing for decades, because it gives me pleasure, it gives me focus, it's a very rewarding hobby. It's one of the few good things I got from my father. That I still is a part of my life that I enjoy very much. So I'm so sorry if one of my would-be admirers, who wants to call me a goddess and all this other crap, is uncomfortable with the fact that to unwind, this sexy lady likes to build model airplanes for fun. And I don't give a good goddamn if that's feminine or masculine or what. Why should I? Because that guy started rattling on about something, and I was like, about how building model airplanes is not feminine. Like, he's the gatekeeper of all femininity. Like, what does he know about anything, and why was I letting this man tell me what my hobby can be? Bullshit. So there it is. Yeah, I turn into a sexy, beautiful woman who still likes to build model airplanes. And that's my dirty little secret. So forever, I have been wanting to build this kit because it comes with a Jeep. It has a little motor, it has a little car, like a Jeep in it, okay? A 4x4 light vehicle. also known as a Jeep. Sorry, I gotta figure out this autofocus thing. There we go, it's better. All right, so I am gonna build a series of videos. For years and years, I have been watching model building channels on YouTube, and I love it. Why should that not be a part of my life anymore? Who decided that my hobby can't follow me on my gender journey, you know? But they do. And not just that one guy, but I've had a few other people react badly to my finding out what my dirty little secret is, my hobby. I have been dreading, it's been in the back of my mind for years that I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I build model airplanes. There are a lot of successful channels where people do that, and I enjoy them. It's fun. I like to watch that stuff. And I've had other people tell me that, like, that's what? Like, they're just, like, looking at me, like, especially when I'm all dolled up and wearing lingerie and makeup and stuff. That's the last thing some guy wants to hear about is your model airplane collection. I know that. I'm not saying it's sexy. I'm saying I'm sexy, but this is my hobby. So if you can accept me as a sexy person, either keep your opinions about my hobby to yourself and don't fucking ask, or don't pass judgment, because who decided that my hobby is gendered? Nowhere on this box does it say anything. No, I don't see anything about gender. It's got it in Japanese and German and French and multiple languages, all kinds of cool stuff on these model airplane boxes. But nowhere on it does it say. Oh, wait, right here. I'm sorry, it was in the fine print. Trump's executive order. If you're transgender, you're not allowed to have any fun. Right? I've been scared that if I make a model building video and put it on YouTube, that I'm going to catch hate for it. So look, I'm not trying to come in there and say, hey, I'm transgender and I'm taking over your wholesome hobby. No, I'm saying that that's been my hobby all my life. I'm 55 years old and I've been doing this since I was a little boy at the time, an unhappy little boy. But this is something that has stayed with me for year after year, decade after decade, and now I'm in another century of it. I get a lot of satisfaction out of the hobby of building scale plastic models, particularly of classic warbirds, airplanes like Mustangs and Spitfires and things like that. And I'm not looking for trouble, okay? Because I'm already dreading the kind of shit I'm going to catch for this. I'm not trying to corrupt your hobby. If you're someone like me who enjoys this hobby, I'm going to challenge you and say, guess what? You have to share your hobby with me now. You don't get to kick me out of it, whoever you are. Because the thing is, the guys who told me that they don't like me doing this are guys who want to control my life and decide how feminine or masculine I am for their purposes, not mine. All right? So I'm going to start a model building channel along with other ones here on YouTube, and I have a feeling it could get ugly because the MAGA people want to politicize everything and turn everything into a culture war. Anything that touches masculinity or femininity becomes explosive because these guys project all their weaknesses and insecurities onto people like me. I know who the hell I am. I'm happy. If you don't like my hobby, same as with everything else. If you don't like it, don't look. And don't tell me that what I can and can't be or what I can and can't do. I think that's the crux of it right there as to why people really hate trans people. Why trans people catch the most fear and hate. I think we do because we do something miraculous. We actually change. To a certain degree. Most people are desperately unhappy with who they are, I think, most of the time. And when they see somebody who actually succeeds in changing something about themselves that makes them unhappy, and it's beyond empowering, this is glorious. It's miraculous. I am a miracle of modern medical science. That's the way I see it. So what I'm afraid of is I'm going to make videos. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm a transgender person. I'm building this airplane while I'm wearing a trans. No, I'm just going to be like, my name's Tiffany Walker, and hey, guess what? I like to build planes too. So I'm going to share this build. I'm going to make a video of me building this model kit, and I'm going to put it out there with the other channels that build model airplane kits. I am not going to draw attention to the fact that I happen to be a transgender woman who enjoys this hobby, but I'm not going to stay away from it anymore, either out of fear. I actually had a guy tell me one time that I wasn't allowed to be interested in airplanes in general, and I just looked at this guy and I said, "You ever heard of Amelia Earhart?" And he goes, "No, what the fuck is that?" Yeah. I sure know how to pick them, huh? And yet I'm the dumb blonde. All right. So here it is, guys. If you're an angry, insecure person and the sight of me enjoying my hobby enrages you or offends you or frightens you, look at yourself before you take out any of your problems on me. I'm bracing myself because I think somebody is going to leave hateful comments and tell me that I am ruining their hobby. And guess what? They're ruining mine. I've been building plastic model airplane kits since the 1970s. No shit. And I like it. And I'm going to keep doing it. All right, so there it is, YouTube. You've got yourself a transgender person who's going to build model airplanes. And hopefully not catch too much hate in the process. I'm throwing my hat in the ring, bing, so to speak. I have things to contribute. I'm not sitting out anymore, guys, just because I'm afraid of my voice or I'm afraid of someone's going to hate me because they find out I build airplanes. I'm not sitting out of life anymore. So love me or hate me, here I am. But all I ask is that if you are someone who claims to love me, don't act like you hate me and then call it love. I know the difference. And if you're somebody that says, I love you, Tiffany, but no. My girl doesn't do stuff like that. I'd be like, well then, I'm not your girl. Because this girl does build models.